First off, Marion, what is it like to run a series versus running a track?
Well, it's a lot more fun to run a series than it is a racetrack because it's just a whole different life. It's not every Saturday night, and the racers are when you're involved with them about every 2 or 3 weeks, they're really nice people actually. But if you're involved with them every week, it's not near as much fun because they're a little bit harder to get along with, and so it gives you a little time in between events to make things better. And so running a racing series is basically, so far this year, has been a lot of fun.
How long did you actually run Mesa Marin?
28 years.
Did you have any racing experience prior to that?
I drove race cars prior to that for about 8.5, 9 years. The most exciting event that I ever ran in was the Riverside Raceway in 1969. And I got to run against Richard Petty, Bobby Allison, Cale Yarbrough, and them guys. It was one of the, probably a most exciting thing that anybody could ever experience.
How big is the crowd here at this track tonight?
I think it's probably the biggest crowd that they've ever had since they've reopened the racetrack. I'm assuming that it has something to do with us because this is the first time that since they've reopened the racetrack that these cars have came to this area, to this racetrack, and so and everybody knows what kind of race cars these are because this is from the Central Valley, and it is the most exciting division of race cars on the West Coast, and so by showing up here the first time, the enthusiasm is fantastic.
What makes this series so exciting?
We have the fastest, most competitive stock car division on the West Coast.
Of the drivers that are fastest and out of control, who would that be?
Jim Pettit. He is the most exciting guy to watch that you've ever seen in your life. He is him and Mike Kenke are two of the old pros, and there's no way in hell that you can beat them unless they break, because there's some guys that can run fast, but those two guys are the toughest guys on the West Coast. They can do anything, and they're just terrific. We have probably on the West Coast, we have a lot of really good race car drivers. As far as saying who might move up, that's going to be very difficult because sometimes a guy might get to move up that don't have the capabilities, but he gets a lucky break. It's just like baseball or everything else. Not always the good guys get to move up. So the ones who get to move up is going to be the ones who get to break, being in the right place at the right time, and not because he's the best driver. Like Mayhew, I think is good talent. And I think that even when he ran at our racetrack years ago, Mayhew is one of the guys that he runs hard, he's dedicated, and he wants to be a race car driver. And I think that he shows an awful lot of talent, and I think that possibly that if he got the right break, he could probably do as good a job as anybody.
When you look at the stars of NASCAR Cup today, who do you have the most respect for, or who are you most impressed by?
In the NASCAR, if you're talking like in the Cup Series, yeah. I know most of the guys, and as far as respect and things of this nature, Kevin Harvick is my favorite because he ran at our racetrack and was our track champion when he was in high school, and I really like Kevin. But most of the things, in my opinion, that the drivers is like most racing series. They're not like when Richard Petty and Cale Yarbrough and Bobby Allison. When those guys raced, I had a lot more respect for those people racing than I do the ones today because the rules have changed to where they're not. What do I say? They're not as men like they used to be. A few people that are very fortunate and they never grow old. And Herschel McGriff is one of those people that he gets up, he exercises all the time, and and he just doesn't grow old. And I think that it showed that he's not all that bad. I don't think that his reflexes and things are as good as the younger guys, but it's still yet he finished 9th in a road race in Oregon, and I think that shows that there's a few people that just don't grow old.